Good morning. On behalf of North Wales Police and Crime Wales, welcome to Llandudno. You've heard from a couple of speakers already, and I hope that that sets the tone for what's to come for the rest of the day. Lots of interesting stuff, hopefully lots of useful information that you can take away with you and put into the workplace. Just 5 minutes from me, just a quick stock take of where we are now and hopefully where we're going to over the next 12 months and more. Sort of good news and bad news. Good news is we've been going for just over 5 years. This is our 5th summit. The last 5 years has been in the main funded from Welsh Assembly government money and some European grant money. And that was about looking at business focus, looking at the business communities, looking at some support to SMEs and getting the funding around that. That won't last forever. So there is a bit of bad news that businesses now, SMEs in particular, need to take stock of where they're at in their own workplace and with their own business, and how you're going to engage better in starting to protect yourselves from the constant threat of e-crime. To challenge, finance is getting tighter and tighter, but the money will not last forever. So we've got to look at a bit more joined up working, more joined up funding, more shared experiences and find ways of developing better working practices. The vision of the project team of eCrime Wales since day one has never changed. And that's about working together to keep you in business. A partnership approach. It's still there, still holds strong, I think, and it's still driving forward. And I don't see that vision changing. It's about how we do it and how we deliver it. There's some good news, there's lots of good news, lots of positives coming out of the last 12 months, the last 2 years. We've progressed, we're trying to deliver on what we promised since day one. We said we'd try and make business more secure, more comfortable, better supported, and I hope just by a few one-liners I can reinforce that message to say that that's starting to work. We told you year on year that no one is immune to the threat of e-crime in Wales. No one is immune to the threat. That will not go away, and the threat will always be there, no matter what we do. And I think we have to accept that, and I guess most people in this room accept that, or probably you wouldn't be here. We have told you about some relatively cost-neutral, very cheap options on making yourselves secure. And I hope that a lot of that is taken up. And some of the literature in front of you gives some help and steer on that. And the people upstairs will give you some help and steer on that. It's not always an expensive option to become secure. I think we just need a bit of time and effort and a little bit of research and find out what suits you, what your needs are, and plan it in that way. We told you, and we still tell you, and I will tell you as a police officer, that businesses are not very good at sharing information with the police service. Not even when you're victims, or your companies are threatened, or there's an incident, you lock down, you keep it fairly tight. Very difficult for me then to start to plan crime prevention processes to try and look at the issues that affect you the most. If I don't know the information, I have a job to deal with it. Equally, I think, coming back, the police service are not very good at taking that information always and turning it into something that is business friendly. Sometimes we're a bit heavy-handed, sometimes we appear to be a little bit ignorant of how business operates, and we're trying to change that. And you'll hear in a bit about the police liaison officers that are now with us, looking at business-specific issues and understanding you, where you're coming from, what your needs are, and relaying that back to the police service so we can do something about it. We told you we'd put a website up. That's been there for 18 months now, and again, some good stuff on that, again, which I'll touch upon just in a moment. As an aside, you've had a few facts and figures this morning, and just one or two more for you. In the UK now, the internet usage is on the up. Every day, new users online. 29 million users in the UK. More than 55% of those now access the internet from their homes. So sole traders, single users, accessing from their homes, running their businesses from their homes. I don't need to tell you that millions, billions of pounds are spent on the internet every day. But equally, I just need to remind you that millions also get lost or stolen every day. And I think we need a balance about trading, but trading carefully and securely. More than half of the young people in the UK, 18 to 17-year-olds, use social networking sites. So they share lots of information. And I just ask you to reflect on some of Ed Gibson's words about the information they share, what they post on some of these sites, and how it might affect them now or in years to come. And how that might even impact upon your own businesses or your own families. So just to be conscious of that. Sounds like a crime prevention advert, but in part it is a crime prevention advert. It's an e-crime prevention advert. Just a couple of more facts for you, just to reflect upon. And it's sort of good news and bad news. More than 88% of businesses in the UK have internet security. Great. 12% don't. Not so great. And if you're one of the 12%, I hope today sort of helps you to refocus on that a little bit. 80% have antivirus software installed, which means 20% don't. Again, a little bit scary this day and age, I think. 80% have firewalls, 20% don't. And again, when you listen to the words of previous speakers about the need to be guarded and some cheap options to do that, just be mindful. 20% of businesses in the UK don't have firewalls or antivirus software. Most young people that you speak to look at you blank when you talk about internet security. They want speed, they want easy access. They don't think about the security aspects. They don't think about the data they're giving away, whether it's business data or personal data. I mention these things just because, thankfully, I remain passionate about trying to keep you safe and secure. Part of my job, of course, is to do that. But the project was set up just to do that. And again, a reflection on how it affects businesses in Wales in particular. Many millions, hundreds of millions of pounds lost per year to businesses in Wales through e-crime. That, to me, means job losses in Wales, which we can't afford. So I think by taking a bit of security measures, just being a bit more guarded, with a little bit more effort, hopefully we can keep business in business and people employed. And back to the ethos and the vision of the project itself about working together to do just that. We are delivering now. We promised you dedicated police officers as part of the project team for the last few years. We have 5 dedicated police officers or police staff in post working very closely with the project. Each of those are in their respective police force areas across Wales, with a lead in the centre. They are specially trained, specially dedicated to look at business crime, e-crime, prevention, liaison, advice, single point of contact. So you've got a name, a face, a voice, someone you can actually contact directly within your local police force and know you're going to get a good, positive response. And they're not sidelined with doing other areas of crime business. They're looking at e-crime for business. They're all here today. There's a stand upstairs with them. Please make sure you make the contact with them today. Find out who they are and use them to your advantage. That's what they're there for.